Hello you, welcome to Geekism and welcome back to another Meander file. These are mini episodes where we time-lapse something in Meanderville, my big sort of passion project of Planet Coaster 2. And we're continuing with Astraore, our Symbolica inspired dark ride here that sort of uses a lot of the new Sorcery pack, but not all of it. It's been a lot of fun with the pack. It's real sort of lit a fire under me, as you can probably tell from the amount of videos that I've had out this week. It's really lit a fire under me. I just really enjoyed the theme, really enjoyed the pieces, and honestly also just really enjoyed, I've said this before, I really enjoy when other people are enjoying the game. I know that sounds crazy, but just seeing other content just really inspires me to make more stuff myself. So seeing all of the awesome overviews of the Sorcery pack, and then people starting to use it in their builds as well, there's just some really awesome stuff out there, and yeah, it just really inspires me to keep playing. So there's lots of stuff been out on the channel. We did the overview, we did the first part of this, and we've also started a challenge mode park, so low budget, where we're playing in real time. So if the time lapse here makes you feel a bit ill, I know a lot of people it does, unfortunately, or if you just want to see the process a little bit slower and on some simpler builds, then make sure you check out Fairview Lake, which is a challenge park in Planet Coaster 2 that came out with the new update. So, but what are we doing here? We're continuing with the Astraore, the Symbolica style ride, and this room is very much reminiscent of Symbolica. There is an amazing scene in Symbolica where you going through a greenhouse, and then the cheeky chappy, I forget his name, the character that sort of goes around and causes magic, makes a big whale appear, and I basically just wanted to build a whale. Now, the narrative of this one is a little lax compared to Symbolica. There's just a whale here for some reason. I just think it's such a cool look, just to have this big whale just peeping at you through the window. There he is. I'm sorry, I didn't want to build it on camera. I'm not great with art shapes, and this is fine, but I didn't want to build it on camera. But we got him in, and I'm actually pretty happy with the results. It's not the best thing with art shapes, but it's good for me, and it's good enough for what we're doing here. So I'm happy enough with it. And then we're going to place some lights around to make some of the plants look a little bit more magical. But really, obviously, here the whale is where the focus is, so we're not going to do anything crazy here. I did think about having some like plant people, little imp type things coming in and out of barrels, but I don't think I could do a decent enough job with them using art shapes. And like I say, I really want to speak. I really want the whale to speak as the main piece there. So anyway, that's that room done. The next showroom, we're doing a classic haunted house trope, the rotating hallway. Yeah, it's been done a lot. It's a little overdone perhaps, but I just love these in real life, and it was a lot of fun to make as well using the rotating pieces. Something we couldn't really do very well in Planet Coaster 1. There were some tubes made in TMYK that we could do towards the end of the life of the game. TMTK, the Maker's Toolkit, TMTK. But now we can just add any scenery we like onto one of these rotating pieces, and there you go. We get a rotating corridor, simple as that. Actually, one of the quickest things to build in this episode, yet has, I think, really great results. You'll see at the end. We'll do a little point of view ride through the ride. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this comes out. Need to tidy up how it connects to the rest of the ride. It's a little, because I made it on an angle, so there's a little sort of weird angle where we have to sort of work it into to the rest of the ride. I thought I did okay until we watched the POV at the end of this, and it just isn't great. So we'll tidy that up in the third episode of this little sort of mini Meanderfile series where we make this ride. In the last one, we'll tidy up the connecting bits. We'll do the stations and the exterior. Alright, next up then, there's a little bit of space in between the observatory and the conservatory, the garden area. So it wasn't enough just to have like a bit of wall with a sign. It needs a little piece, but it's not really big enough for a whole showroom. So we're going to do some statues using the awesome new wizard busts, and I think these turn out really well. They're quite simple. They're just static, but I just think they're nice things to have a little look at. And it's, in some ways, it's a little bit of a nod to the Haunted Mansion and the singing busts. But These don't sing. Maybe one day we'll get singing ones. You could maybe try and animate a little mouth over the top of them with pieces. I don't know. I'm no taggy. That sort of stuff is a little lost on me. But now I'm happy with how these turned out. Just a nice little thing to look at, and it sort of breaks up the rooms with a little bit of a breather, a little bit, oh, wasn't that awesome? Oh, I wonder what's next, that kind of stuff, which we can do in these spaces. My original plan there was to have those two windows actually look through so you could see the rest of the track. I thought that was a neat thing, you could see the other people. Unfortunately, how I've designed it, it means you either get a real spoiler of the whale way too early, or you see the exit path on the other side as you've gone past it. So I end up covering them up with some curtains, and it is a little dark spot. I probably need to go back in and light it again. You'll see in the POV. Sorry, the thing is, I obviously played all of this and recorded it, and then I throw the time lapse into Premiere Pro ready to record over it, and then I went in and filmed the POV, and now I'm doing the voiceover some 5 minutes after watching that POV, and so all of the little niggles that I found on the way are all fresh in my mind now, to make a note of to fix in the next episode. So, but I quite like the sort of work in progress with this one. It's not just the whole thing, and I'm not just showing off a point of view at the end of it. You get to see all of the little intricacies, whether it works out or not. Here's the last sort of final big show scene. There is one more to do, which we'll talk about in a moment. But this is the last big one, and again, this is reminiscent of Symbolica. They have a scene where you look over a balcony down into the town below, and I thought that would be a fun thing to try and make a miniature. First of all, I'm looking at boats, and I'll talk more about boats in a second. So I am doing this without any mods. I do have a single mod installed at the moment, which gets rid of the gates on the stations, which I think is well worth doing. The other one that I kind of fight with myself a little bit over is the scaling mod. I can't actually remember what it's called. Too much scaling, I think, which allows you to scale pieces sort of down to 1% or 5% or something like that. I think, well, you can even set it yourself. And I've considered it. I don't feel like I need it much personally. I feel like I can do what I need to do without it. Occasionally, I'll see a piece and be like, "Oh, I wish that could just go a little bit smaller." So I am considering it. My worry is it'll just make my piece count go too high, and I'll spend too long on small things. I don't know. The reason why I mention it now, obviously, because I'm building a miniature, it would actually be very, very useful here. I feel like I've done a decent enough job of building all of this stuff using just the base game scaling, but I would love a little bit more movement in this scene, and I think one way to do that would be to have a pirate ship that at least bobs about, maybe even follows a little track. The problem is, obviously, the pirate ship in game, you can't get anywhere near small enough. So I'm tempted, honestly, to get the too much scaling mod just for that one use, just to take the pirate ship down to 10% and add it in. We'll see. You'll tell me what you think at the end. You'll see a play the point of view of this. I do think it needs a little something. I'm pretty happy with how it's come out, but it doesn't quite feel done. I do think it needs something. But the idea is it's just a castle scene with a little town, and then there's forest either side, and there's little sort of Easter eggs in the forest. There's a little bandit campsite on the one side. On the other, there's like a ice citadel, sort of like an Elsa's frozen castle kind of thing. Happy with it. The only thing I don't do here is show you the whole build, because it's a little repetitive, honestly. I made a couple of the buildings and then basically replicated them and recolored them and resized them ever so slightly. So I'm going to show you the first couple of buildings, and then we'll jump to the whole thing being done. But without the scaling mod, these post pieces, they're supports or pillars or something, for some reason they do go super small. 5% I think, and they're really, really useful. So all of the sort of lamps there and the fences, that's all made with those, and I think I do a decent enough job of windows using some planks and the very edge of a light. Obviously this is going to be in the dark for the most part, so the lights of the buildings are really what's going to create the atmosphere. It works out really quite well. I think it gives it a lot of warmth. So there you go, there's the first building, and then I think I just sort of recolor it. So we've got a little bit of multiples. We'll cut back later to see more of them. And then the last thing here is this There's this mountain scene with like I say, like the ice witch's castle or whatever you want, using some of these crystals. It's kind of fun. The detail's pretty light on this, honestly, because, well, it's a miniature and you're wandering by and seeing everything as you go. But yeah, in the Symbolica, the ride, it's all about these big butterflies that fly down. I didn't want to go that close into it. I didn't want to sort of replicate it that much. I just liked the idea of trying to build a miniature. I've considered doing it in other parks and other places as just like a miniature town, you know, that they have, like a model village, and never really got round to it. So I thought it'd be a good place to try and do it here as a scene in the ride. Moving some stuff over then, taking the greenhouse side and making it balcony, and adding in a little cat statue here just because it kind of needs something and the cat statue's cute. And then there's one more room just before you get to the twisted hallway. There's a single room here and I don't know what to do in it. My original thought was originally I wanted to do the hallway to be a library, but I don't really fancy making a load of books out of art shapes. I'm kind of holding out just in case we do get books at some point. So maybe some sort of library scene. I don't know. Answer on a postcard, please. Let me know in the comments. What could this last room? It's not only a small room. It's going to be similar to the Pepper's Ghost candelabra scene earlier, that sort of scale and size. So ideas on a postcard. This needs something, a little light or a little statue or what have you. But there we go, into the statues of the great wizards. I think that looks great. The lighting there is beautiful. Man, the lighting in this game is so good at night time. Then we come into the conservatory, and we see our big old whale boy there, just having a potter. And through absolute chance, it does that thing where it always looks like the eye is looking at you. I don't really know how you do that. I think it just has to have the eye be right in the middle, but I genuinely feel like he watches you as you go through. I think that's really quite neat. And again, keeping the forefront there relatively plain, other than some water, which unfortunately doesn't show up very well in the dark, because the focus there is on the whale. And then we do a big old swing round, and we see this cat statue, the whale lighting, giving this area a bit of a faded glow, which I think is quite neat. And then we have the balcony. So the one thing I love about this is, rather than it just being a big open scene, is that we have these windows here with the balcony pieces sort of facing outwards, so you can really get an idea of scale. And I just love how you only get little glimpses of it, and you have to sort of like peek through and spot things. This is really good. The lighthouse needs moving back a little bit. I think it needs to be moved back so you can kind of see it out of that window there, because otherwise it kind of gets lost up against the ice castle there. So I think we'll move the balcony, and then we'll need to tidy up this little end piece here. But we can only do that once we figure out what's going on in this room here, which currently is just an empty space. So yeah, let me know what we could do there. Just an idea for a fun little vignette. I don't really want to use the sorcerer animatronics from the game. I think they're a bit too fluid for me. And we, like I said before, we need to tidy up this tunnel here. But once you get into it, it's amazing how well this works. Like, you genuinely feel like the whole thing's turning, even just on video in a video game. I think it's actually really, really quite cool how it works. And then this will take us up to the station, where you are going to be let out, and you will exit through the gift shop, which will hopefully happen in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really been enjoying making this ride. It was something that I wanted to do in the park from the get-go, and then as soon as the Sorcery pack was announced, I was like, well, there you go, that's absolutely what we're looking for. So I'm really happy with how it's turning out. Thanks so much for watching. Love you all to bits. Until the next one, be good.